Hey Axis and Allies players, the good captain here, and welcome to a recap of Russia's round 4 and Germany's round 4 in this game of Axis and Allies 1914, played against a human opponent. So, pretty easy stuff here. The Russians purchase 4 infantry and an artillery, and they move this piece in Tatarstan to Kazakhstan, and everyone else attacks Livonia. And this is the beginning of a catastrophe that basically is a mirror opposite of what the Russians ate on round 2, because the Russian attack scored, this is a total of 18 hits, which is about 1 1/3 hits over what is expected. Wait, hang on a second. Yeah, so the Russians scored +1, and then the Germans fire back, and this is a pretty easy one. 38 at 3, the center line of the bell curve is just cut in half, so 19. The Germans score -5. So that is going to already narrow the score a bit. The Russians having shot almost -8 in the round 2 battle, and the Germans shooting at almost +3 in the other. Okay, and so the Russians place their new purchases. Obviously, the capital is about to fall here, and there's not really going to be any option for revolution. So when we get to the German turn, I decided to go with the just to match the purchase of the Austrians to the south and build 3 tanks. Normally I parse this out 1 tank a turn over the course of 3 turns, but just want to try to bend my stock strategy from time to time and try new things. And then on the German turn, of course, we cut off reinforcements to the west front. This is a positive 24 tov swing battle, so long as the Germans gain air superiority. So I stacked up all 4 fighters that were within range, the 3 in Poland and the 1 in Silesia, to just give us that, I think it's a 96% chance of air supremacy. And so yeah, we look like this. And even if I lose 2 fighters, it's still a positive 24 tov swing. A 3% chance the Germans win. Of course, the Russians can't win even if they hit all their pieces. I have more as the Germans than the Russians do. So the air battle just completely goes the way of the CP, and then a disaster strikes for the CP. The first problem is that the Germans score -3 on their attack. This is within, definitely within, like, okay, that can happen. And then this happens. The Russians roll 21 dice and only miss on 4. Now that is this is one of those this is actually fairly easy to pull a dice probability calculator on, so I'm going to do that just to show you how rare this is. Okay, so here we are. If we are rolling 21 dice, the center line of the bell curve is either 10 or 11. So at 10 dice is going to be, 67%. Rolling 11 dice happens 50%, right? Rolling 12 dice, asking more for the defenders is 33%. Still on the spectrum of possibility, right? 33% happens as often as a defending infantry hits. Okay, 13 hits. Now we're starting to get into trying to hit a bomber with an anti-aircraft gun in regular Axis and Allies. 14 hits, we're under 10%. Okay, 15 hits, we're at 4%. So, okay. 16 hits, we're not still yet to where the Russians hit. It's 1.3%. 17 hits happens 0.36% of the time. 0.36. This is just off the spectrum of possibility. This is like a statistically impossible roll. But these things happen when you play many games. And you know, we can kind of do a side-by-side comparison to that previous. Can we? I don't know if we can. Right. No, it's more difficult to parse the dice out with when they're different values. So I can't really demonstrate which attack was worse or which dice probability was less or dice result was less probable. Was it less probable that the Russians roll as poorly as they did on the R2 attack, or was it less probable that the Russians get this number on their attack into Livonia? I'm not 100% certain, but just to demonstrate this, yeah, that is a positive. This is a plus 6.5. So actually, I guess that's not. Well, I don't know. I can't remember how many dice were hucked in that first battle, but yeah. Anyway, sometimes fun to look at this, and this keeps your head straight about expectation versus reality. In other words, it's not realistic to base future strategy off of something you know, that has such a wonky dice roll. Of course, this affected the TUV swing dramatically. Um, Instead of having a positive 24 TUV, which is a very safe attack, this ended up being -11 in favor of the Russians. But yeah, so yeah, I actually cut into my artillery pretty deeply. That's just a decision based on what I'm actually going to be using these German troops for going forward. And again, we already cut off the supply of troops to the East Front as the Germans, and I think that's probably the right move. Still, we'll see. The Austrians will clean up, of course. The Russian capital is going down, and in all of this, I have to also put some icing on this cake of probability. The fact that the Central Powers have not lost a single fighter in those two air battles is also not lost on me. So probably despite all this, I think the CP probably still edged out maybe a little bit ahead of this, but if that's true, it's just barely true, and it's probably has something to do with winning those air battles. At any rate, fun. This is one of the more fun aspects to kind of digest playing a lot of Axis and Allies is when a roll like that gets hucked and you can do it. I like to look at the probability of that being repeated. So thanks for watching this. All the best from the good captain, and bye-bye.